In match number 5, we're up against Lil Jig here, who is playing a Blackwing hybrid. It's very similar to the one that we lost to in round 1. So we're going to be going first this time, though, and we draw a reasonably good opening hand. So we go Foolish, send Cross-Border, get the Dark Panther, which sets up our Allure. Then we have Diva to make a Synchro, and I think we just set it all here. So the way I play my back row this game is what really throws it away for me. I really misplay with the way I use them. And it starts right here where I Judgment the Gale for some reason. This was very stupid, and I shouldn't have done it. I probably should have just Mirror Forced the Gale after he halved my guy. And I draw Plague for turn, which doesn't do anything, so I just hit in. Then here I'm going to play really badly into Ick Attack with the Mirror Force, which I flip on Attack Declaration. And I'm going to lose everything here. I draw Mally, which feels really bad. I pass. So all I really have going on here is the Gores, which he basically has to know about at this point after I pass like that. So he just goes for Greffer, sends the Vayu, just attacks him with the Greffer. I feel like I have to Gores here. A lot of my usages of Gores were a bit premature this tournament, but I think this one I just had to do it here because I have nothing. Just nothing going on in this hand. So I draw Sangan, which is pretty bad here. I have to beat over the Greffer, and I think there's probably a Colute, given that he dropped this in main 2. So I decide to tribute my Malicious, so that I can maybe do something next turn with Malicious Plague. He's got another Greffer, though. So he's going to summon another Armed Wing. Colutes over my Gores. He probably should have attacked with Greffer first there, because he knew that was Mally. So I draw the second Mally for turn, which really screws me up here. Because now I'm going to have to make some terrible play where I ram with the Plague and then stack the Mally that I drew to get it live. And I just try to turtle behind a Colossal. I make the calculation here that it's more likely he will find a Blizzard or a Bora than another Colute. But of course he does draw the other Colute. So I'm going to die because I put the Colossal in attack mode instead of defense mode. So that's game 1. Kind of lost it to a combination of just terrible luck and egregious misplays. Game 2, though, we're going to bring it back here. We open Convert Contact, which is nice. I think we just set a Dust Tornado pass. So he's going to fire 3 upstarts on turn 1. And then just still doesn't find a decent Blackwing normal summon. Seems like he's kind of bricked on side deck cards here. So I end phase Dust. I assume this must be Vayu. I just decide to swing with Card Trooper. And I set a Bottomless. He goes Dyna. So I can't drop Trag here. Then he sets, I go Rhoda for Armageddonite. Then he actually Judgments my Armageddonite. So if I didn't already know he has nothing, now I'm for sure know he has nothing because, wow. So I decided to just hold the Phoenix Wing here. I don't want something going on where I Phoenix Wing this and then he just drops another one, so I'm just going to wait for my turn, play it safe. Phoenix Wing will put a 3rd Dark in my graveyard, so I can just drop Dad. And at this point, I'm just absolutely convinced he has nothing, so I'm yeah, whatever, I'm winning next turn. He has the Storm, which I played really badly into, but there's no follow-up whatsoever, so I win that game. Now, game 3 is probably the most interesting one, I think. He opens reasonably well. Again, doesn't really find a great normal summon, though. He's just going to set the Dust Shoot. I find a space. I do not fire it here. I don't fall for this bait after he holds it. I just get Dust Shooted in end phase. He's obviously going to send back the Gores here, since the Glow Moss isn't really doing anything. It's interesting that I did not side out Sangan here. I don't know why I made that decision. Generally, I would take it out in this matchup. So I'm just going to go Card Trooper, try to beat over it. Yep. I played really badly into this Storm. I should have known about it. the way he was playing, not setting any cards, he was obviously just trying to cheese me with Storm. So, fortunately for me, I draw back into the Gores off of the Dust Shoot, which is really nice. I maybe drop it a little prematurely here, though. Could conceivably have held it a bit longer. I just kind of got excited because I redrew it. He goes Android, sets all his back row, passes. Fortunately for me, his back row are Oppression and MST, and neither one of those cards really does anything to my threats, which are Grand Mole and Gores. So I play it safe, just hit over. Set the Mind Crush, gets end phase spaced, whatever. His Blizzard. This is really rough for me because he's going to go Goyo and take my Gores. But again, the MVP of my deck, the pesky boy himself, he's going to come out. I decide to bounce my own Gores, which is really nice here. I figure I can survive next turn since I have this Gores, and then I can just threaten this Goyo as well. He makes a little mistake here, I think. I believe he doesn't attack with Goyo first, so then he's not able to get in for as much damage. Because he has to play around Gores. So I just hold the Gores, and I lure it off next turn. I find Storm Diva, and I'm not taking any chances, so I just storm the back row. I'm like, alright, I'll answer the Greffer with Catastor, and I'll answer the Armed Wing with Phoenix Wing. And then I have Grand Mole and Catastor to deal with the Goyo that remains, so I think I'm going to be in a really good spot. I bounce this guy so he can't use the deck dev. I draw a Stratos, so this Miracle is now turned on, which is really nice for me. And now I'm just going to go hit over this. He finds Clute, so he's got to make a sort of weird desperation play here. He normal summons the Vayu, so I know for sure this is Clute. I just decided to fire Miracle here. I'm like, I can play around Clute with Ab-Zero. So obviously he's not going to drop it. Just going to take all of this. Here on this turn, he makes a really sick line, so let's watch this. He goes over my Catastor with the Clute, right? Then he uses this to get Gale. I bounce it with the Grand Mole, which then allows him to resummon it and have my Ab-Zero, which I didn't think mattered at all. At this point, I feel like I've won. Like, I just have so much advantage. There's so much I can do next turn. But he has the deck dev still. So he's able to synchro and deck dev me, and because my Ab-Zero has been halved, it will also die. But as you can see, I've got another Miracle here. So even though he's able to Vayu drop another guy, I can still just out it with Miracle Fusion and hit in with the Alias for game. So, really cool play there that he made, but unfortunately it was just not enough at that point in the game. So that's match number 5. Let's go look at match number 6. Here I'm against Cam, very powerful duelist, obviously. Alright, so I'm going to be going first. Cam is playing a Christia Sworn deck, which is kind of interesting. I open, my hand's really nice. I have a lore that's live, and I have Dust Shoot, which is awesome. I go for the Diva play, since I don't really know what's in his hand. I go Catastor set. I fire the Dust Shoot immediately, and I see that he has also drawn a really good hand. There's nothing great that I can really put back here that stops him. I think I settle on putting back the Lumina to try to preserve my knowledge of his hand and blank one of the cards, which is Solar Recharge. But obviously he's going to make this play where he books over my Catastor and kills it with Trooper. So here I'm wondering whether I can Dolphin to kill this Trag. I'm pretty sure I can, but I wasn't 100% sure. I am 100% sure now. It's definitely the same as deck dev. Trag counts as 0 in the hand. Ultimately, in hindsight, I think not killing it might have just been the right play, because I kind of just want to keep all of these cards in my hand. Like, I really like all of them, and I'm going to have to pitch one for Wing Blast probably eventually, too. So I think just hitting over Card Trooper was probably correct, so it's what I ultimately decided to do. So I don't go for Dolphin, I just out the Trooper. And he drops the Tricodia, and I just pass. So he's going to kill the Dolphin, whatever. Here we find the Pesky Boy, put back the Trag. He finds a Wolf, which makes his charge alive, but he just draws into dead cards, so it's no big deal. We go. I decide to hit him with Alias, just because I feel like I have enough backing this up that it's no big deal if he drops Scores or Trag. Decides to drop the Trag, probably because he drew the Wolf and he's going to go for the Steal, which he does. He decides to play around Mirror here, so I just take 19. Here, I decide to take the plus again. The Pesky Boy coming in clutch, bouncing back the Neo-Spacian. Here, I'm going to convert Contact it off in main 2. So I can draw, I find Armonite, and at this point I'm like, alright, I'm winning next turn, or I'm basically winning next turn. I'm going to make my big push, and he's just not going to be able to come back. So all I got to do is survive here. He hits in, I don't want to take this damage, I just Wing Blast. So now it's go time. We summon Armonite, get our 3rd Dark, drop our dad, fire the Miracle Fusion, and we have lethal on board, so he's got to drop the Scores. I probably should have hit with one of the big guys first. This was a bit of a mistake, because the Gores and the token are both dying anyway, right? So he just drops it right away to avoid damage. So he draws, he finds Trag again, which I bounced. I know he's on my body, so I go for the back row first, which was smart. I just pop his whole field with Dad. And with the Stratos normal summon, this should just be game through Trigodia. So we're going to game 2, I take game 1. Alright, game number 2. My hand's alright. He's going to go first. So that's just a hamster. I draw. I fire the Convert Contact. Draw 2. We find Dust Shoot again, which is nice. But we hit into Hamster, which is not so nice. And we don't really have much going on in our hand right now either, which is kind of a problem. I don't think I fired this Dust Shoot yet. I was trying to bait him to Raikou it, but I just decided to do it here. I put back the JD because I think it's the biggest threat. And then I hit into one of the Raikous, the one that I know for sure is Raikou. And then I just pass. He goes in with Hamster, I just take it. I go Alias over the Hamster. Drops Trigodia. Okay, so here, the fact that he redrew the JD off of the Dust Shoot really messes me up. I'm like, I know he's got a Wolf, because I saw it. So, I don't want him stealing my guys, so I just decide to Miracle in main 2. But then, he just has the level 8 to steal my Ab-Zero with that I didn't know about. So, yeah, that was a big problem. And he's going to set the Oppression. And this is going to totally mess up my attempt to BrainCon Miracle off. And I think I just lose right here, because there's nothing else I can do. So yeah, pretty unfortunate game number 2. Finally, here we are in game number 3. We open relatively okay hand. We have Diva Miracle, so we're going to normal Arma to get a Mally in our grave. I have the Starlight Road that I sided in, so I decided to set it with my Miracle, just hoping that he opened the Storm. Obviously, he does open the Storm, and there's no reason for him not to just slam it. He would never suspect that I have Starlight Road. It's just a random one-off sideboard card. But I do have it, so I kind of sack him here. He goes Lila, which is really nice to trade with both of my monsters. He's going to recharge first, obviously. Draws 2 dead cards, though. So I let him kill that. I decide to protect my Miracle, which will both let me get an Ab-Zero and stop him from getting mills. So here we're going in, obviously. We're going to go Diva. If I'd synced 8, let me think about this, actually. If I'd gone, like, I don't think I had game here, because he's at 8k. I would have had, like, 100 off game, though, actually. If I'd gone Colossal, or I would have been really close. Maybe not 100 off, but I've been really close. But I decide this is a 2-turn clock, so I just preserve my my resources in case of like a Gores or a Trag. So then main 2, I just make my 8. I go Thought Ruler. I go Ab Zero. I set pass. And here I just think he probably doesn't have enough to deal with this board at this stage of the game. He's not set up enough. So he just goes Card Trooper, hits over my Gilman. I say whatever. He's going to set a back row. I think I just end phase Wing Blast. Yeah, because I'm like, alright, we're winning this turn. I can summon the Aqua Dolphin, and then if there's a Gores, I can just snipe it out of his hand, but there's not. And now I know the top deck is a spell trap, so he's not drawing into anything, which means I just have lethal on board right here. So that's going to be it.